sent me pictures over this dog food we are feeding the students and not worried about that instead of just sent me pics. The students trust me. I will never oust one for the super to go embarrassed or try to lie and go past an issue. I responded telling him I won't tell him. Also asked him what his plan was and got no response. Yesterday I sent a follow-up email asking for an update. His response is words exactly, "We appreciate your concern and are dealing with them." That is it. Well, isn't that informative? People were paying him to not do his job. Here's today's lunch. Milk, some fake peanut butter sandwich, bag celery, carrots, some brown, and always slimy. One ranch cup, and a spot with that ranch, and a cheese stick, the only edible item in the whole bag. Did they not get rid of meat anymore or real food? Again, would you eat it? You're funded by the state for meals, no excuses. Before being superintendent, he was at Wilkinson watching students being forced to take a lunch. He knows the school gets paid. But then watch them find the nearest garbage can, which is usually in this corner, and toss it. Didn't care, but snack bar was booming, and that's okay because again, the school makes a buck, right? So kids are filling up on cleaning hot garbage and cookies. Is this acceptable? The super was known for years about lunches, and here we still are. We're going to hold them accountable for that? Today, I'm here speaking for those students who reached out to me. They were afraid of backlash to come speak here today to you. And fear of being told it's not that bad of pressure to drop it. But I'm not afraid. Please hear them.
Do we have anyone else?
Thomas Smith.
Can you hear me? I'm Tom Smith. This is my opinion. A special board meeting for trustee mediation on June 15th was revealed. It was a summary of what we've witnessed seeing uncivil trustee conduct in several episodes over the last few years. There's an overwhelming evidence and history that clearly identifies the problem. This problem does not benefit the district. Accusations without evidence, petty gossip, and self-serving behavior that distracts from the problem doesn't work. Attempts to shift blame to the superintendent doesn't work either. Don't blame others for your choices. Trustees, like the public, are responsible for their own conduct, not somebody else. I think incivility from some trustees in the past has contributed to the problems that the district is dealing with now. It's a distraction, not a solution to the district's issues. Some problems could have been solved years ago if these trustees chose to work together in an open, respectful manner. This behavior should not be accepted by the board. If the problem is not resolved, I don't see how the board will successfully sell a bond to voters, even with clearly identified needs. I think it will fail. I'd rather see the district be absorbed by another community than watch more dysfunctional incidents substituting for public representation. And as the mediator said, board members need to do their job and stop trying to involve themselves with the administration's responsibilities. The mediator said it again and again. Board members need to do their job and stop trying to involve themselves with the administration's responsibilities. I'm sorry, I missed that. You must find a way to let go of past unhelpful behaviors and move forward. Unwillingness to do that is not an option. Shifting blame isn't either. Civility is the only responsible way to conduct the district's business. Mr. Urban said the Open Meetings Act requires boards to act with good faith and fellowship. Most trustees have done that to varying degrees, but it's a real struggle for some. The mediator's observations and conclusions clearly back this up. He identified accountability for problems and repeated solutions that were objected to or deflected by some trustees. The Open Meetings Act is not a platform for playing gotcha. Its basic standard of civil behavior is clear. Those trustees who choose not to meet that standard should not be on this board. The community deserves better. It's simple, really. If you want to be taken seriously and not be laughed at, just act like an adult. I commend those trustees who are making an effort. I'd like to see a strong effort from all of them. We can disagree without being mean or ugly if we choose to. That should apply to everyone. Thanks for your attention.
So, moving on, superintendent's.
Thank you, President Holder. I just have a couple of things. Just want to report out on the carnival that we had on. It was a success in spite of the weather. We thought we were going to get rained out, but we managed to fundraise a little over $10,000 after all the fees and expenses. We still managed to make a little over $7,000 in fundraising. But our objective was not to make money on this event. Our objective was to provide atmosphere for families to come together and celebrate and spend time with each other as we're coming out of this pandemic. So we had no real incidents. Just want to thank people of the health. Their help was pretty much appreciated. And then the other thing that I have for the holders, I want to acknowledge some teachers who have received their tenure. So I just want to applaud them. We will have certificates for them.
I don't mean to, can I interrupt for just 1 second? I pulled up the Facebook live video just to see, and unless you're in the microphone, nobody's hearing you on Facebook.
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay. How about now?
Let me pull the feedback up.
Okay. Want to recognize Caitlin Snizek for achieving tenure, Lisa Vanderhagen for achieving tenure, Tran Tong for achieving tenure, Catherine Hart for achieving tenure, Wild Jarbo for achieving tenure, and Margaret Kelch for achieving tenure. It's a big honor to be able to present them that tenure certificate, and that concludes my report.
Next up, approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting June 7th, 2021, special board meetings June 1st, 2021, June 11th, 2021, June 14th, 2021, June 15th, 2021, and June 22nd, 2021. We recommend the Board of Education approve the minutes from those addressed meetings. Need a maker and a support, please. Mr. Holcomb is the maker. Mrs. Thompson is the support. Any discussion? Beth, do you have anything to add? No, thank you. All right. Hearing nothing, please control, please.
Crystal Weaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss. Yes. Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Deborah Ott. Absent. Ben Scott.
Yes.
And Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, approval of MHSAA membership for the 2021-22 school year. Do we have any other information? It's just the Michigan High School Athletic Association annual membership renewal for the 21-22 school year. We need a maker and support, please. Mrs. Thompson is the maker. Support. I'll support. Ms. Weaver? Any discussion? Hearing none, can you call roll, please?
Crystal Weaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Chambliss. Yes. Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holder,
Yes.
Ben Scott.
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next up, approval of the K-12 career readiness team stipends. Says the $200 stipend for each team member is compensation for after-school meetings, training, and program, as well as implementation of our K-12 career readiness initiatives throughout the 2021 school year. The stipends are coming out of our K-12 career readiness budget, and the funds for the stipends will then be coded to each building's K-12 account, starting with 110 to 127. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the K-12 career readiness team stipends as presented. Do we have a maker?
I'll make it.
Oh, okay. Trustee Chambliss, Mr. Holcomb, Mr. Thompson's not sitting next to me, is he? And is there discussion? Beth?
No, thank you.
All right, hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mark Holcomb.
Yes.
Cindy Bolger.
Yes.
Deborah Ott. Absent. Beth Scott.
Yes.
Gloria Thompson.
Yes.
Christy Weaver. Yes. Rebecca Shambliss. Yes. Motion passes.
Next is the approval of the accounts. Robert Half. I don't, did executive want to talk about this one? Mr. Zullivan?
Yes. We're asking for approval to use one staff accountant, experienced staff accountant, to support our accounting work. We have had some turbulence and some staff leaving, and we have looming a lot of deadlines right around the corner, including the audit, heavy grant deadlines. If you all follow the grant funding coming from the state, you know, they have given us tight timelines in which to comply and apply for those funds. So we need some additional support, and we're coming to the board to ask for one experienced accountant to help us navigate as, you know, we try to study our staffing needs.
With that, it's recommended that the Board of Education approve the use of accounting support services from accountants Robert Half. We need a maker and support, please. Mrs. Thompson, is there support? Trustee Beaver? Any discussion?
Madam President, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this accounts Robert has, do we know how many hours we're going to be using him weekly or monthly and how long?
It's going to be a regular 40-hour work week. We have a lot of deadlines. It's going to be a regular 40-hour work week. We have heavy deliverables to the audit as of August the 2nd that we must meet to keep the district in compliance. There are other compliance items that the district must meet. You know, there's a lot of needs that the district has, and one of the needs is we have to remain fiscally responsible and compliant. And in order for us to do that, with our very small staff, you know, we've had some people leave. In order for us to meet those deadlines, we need the help of accountants, just one experienced accountant. Work 40 hours a week, at least to get us into August, September, you know, before we can hire for that one position. We don't have the time, to hire and train. Whenever someone leaves, there's a training that needs to take place, but you have your deadlines that you must meet, and so we're just caught at this time. And so we need those services to be successful.
We're missing a payroll person, correct?
Lawrence is back, but with emphasis on back. When he left, there was a lag. There was work that was not done, so now we have to catch up. And we also need, not a payroll, because Lawrence is doing payroll, we need the additional accounting position. So, there's a lag when people leave, there's things that are not done, we gotta catch up, and we have a lot of looming deadlines. And to be fiscally responsible, this is the reason why I'm coming to the board for support in this area so that we can be successful.
Thank you.
Anybody? Purpose of financing the school construction description in this application. That said application is presented to the state treasurer for action prior to the official election of the Board of Education, calling the election on a said bond issue. Resolved that this Board of Education will present a final qualification application to the state treasurer for qualification of their bonds after this bond issue has been approved by the electors of said district. Read this application and approve all statements and representations authorize the Secretary of the Board of Education to sign this preliminary application and submit same to the state treasurer for review and approval. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the resolution for the preliminary qualification of funds. Do we have a maker and support? Mr. Holcomb, Mr. Maker, do we have support?
Chair, I'll support.
Okay, Trustee Chambliss. And any discussion? Beth, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Hearing none, we have roll call vote, please.
Rebecca Chambliss? Yes. Crystal Beaver?
Yes.
Gloria Thompson?
Yes.
Beth Scott?
Yes.
Cindy Holder?
Yes.
Mark Holcomb?
Yes.
Motion passes.
None. Personnel report, human resources. Mr. James.
Right, so the personnel report, we have 2 new hires, John Odo, teacher
Mr.
at...
Philip, I cannot hear.
Is that better? We have John Odo, teacher at Madison Elementary.
Can hear.
Paige Warren, social worker at Madison Early Childhood and WMS. For resignations, we have Pam Molnar, lunchroom supervisor at MES. Dina Pusateri, Madison High School teacher. Josette Domzik, teacher at Madison High School. Steve Emery, teacher at Madison High School. Morgan Hinkle, teacher at Madison High School. Carly Kimbrough, teacher at Madison Elementary School. Stephanie Current, teacher at Madison High School. There was one termination and non-renewal, which was Shante Johnson, custodian at Madison High School. And one recall of Scott Stinson, custodian at Madison Early Childhood Center.
Okay, it is recommended that the Board of Education accept the personnel report for Madison District Public Schools as presented. Do we have a maker and support?
I'll make a motion.
Steve Weaver. And support? Steve Chambers. Any questions? I don't think we're saying that, Lawrence is going back to get covered.
No,
How does
since
that work?
the board did over his termination was rescinded, so.
So Beth, did you hear that?
I did not hear it.
Okay, just so that you heard the answer, just that because it was never brought to us, his resignation, so we don't have to hire him. Just so
He
everybody.
just rescinded his resignation.
Okay, and with that, and we have, roll call vote, please.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Mulder,
Yes.
Matt Scott,
No,
Gloria Thompson,
Yes.
Crystal Beaver,
Yes.
Rebecca Shambliss. Yes. Motion passes.
6-1. Okay. Oh, 5-1. Sorry, you are right. I was already corrected. You didn't see the Mr. Jewel Congress. He's giving me the notes. Okay. And with that, Mr. Jamie is here for the set list update.
There's some extra copies if the public wants to grab a copy, it's right here.
I cannot hear Mr.
He said they have extra copies that are available for the public that's here.
This election. So,
Okay. This report's also on the webpage. It's under the administrative tab, under business and operations, so it can be viewed there as well. One of those, let's go through this kind of quickly since we already went through it in a previous meeting. If you have any questions along the way, just let me know. Start with page 1 here. This is the administration office. This has been completed. First page here, the exposed wiring and repaired. Some storage on the floor in the basement. We're pricing out shelving units for that. Boiler inspections have been completed. We're just waiting on the certificate to be mailed to us. They noted a backup sump pump. There is actually a backup sump pump already installed there. The damper in the basement doesn't close. This is being looked into. They're having a quote from Perth side.
he does.
Yeah. Perth side and possibly Detroit boilers. And you might get the whole quotes if anyone wants to. There's also a leaking pipe in our basement admin office. We're getting a quote from Detroit Boiler and Perth side to look at that. Rusted pipe, okay. Rusted pipe, we're getting quotes on that as well. Exposed wiring, this is going to be addressed by the district staff. Fire extinguishers, this is being addressed this week by Conti, who's doing our inspection. The data feed wiring against metal, this is being addressed by district staff. Electrical cords and hoses, this has been addressed. Slip and fall hazards, we're looking to do a small minor repair to that, but this is something we hope to address with the bond if it doesn't pass. Electrical wiring outside, these are old cable wires that just need to be removed and secured. We're working on that. light pole damage. This will also be addressed by district staff. It's a huge cement pillar, so we're trying to figure out how to get that out of there. The electrical inspections, I'm going to talk to SETSEG to see their recommended for that. Employee trainings is completed through Safe Schools every year. Extended break facility inspection, SETSEG provided us with a checklist. This has been distributed to all our head custodians. We do have a facility use agreement, so that's complete. Freeze loss prevention program, this is implemented through a SETSEG checklist as well. Refrigeration unit, we're looking into this to provide some quotes for that. Roofing inspections are scheduled. The roofing maintenance, depending on what is needed, we'll get quotes for that once it's provided to us. Surge protection, I have to get a quote for that as well. A lot of these are kind of expensive, so just take some time to get some quotes for these. Under surge protection, we have to get a quote on that one. The routine electrical inspection, this is something I want to look at when we schedule some infrared testing that SETSEG recommends. Backup generator, it's extremely pricey, so we're going to look into funding hopefully. This is BCC. Crack concrete, we're hoping to address this with bond funding. Boiler inspections, these are completed. The pump not guarded, these two pumps are not adequately guarded. This is something that Detroit Boiler is working on a quote for me on right now. Electrical panels, they're blocked, this is going to resolve. Snow blower stored inside, this is going to resolve. The water and oil leakage, this was completed by Detroit Boiler. SETSEG recommended flammable liquid storage cabinets. We're looking at pricing the cabinets, but in the meantime, all the flammable liquids have been stored elsewhere. This electrical door, we're working on a parts list to get this working again. Remove combustibles from the stove, this is completed. The slip trip and fall hazard, this is also completed. Univent heater, this was completed. And exit signs are also all tested in ECC. This is MES. Boiler inspection was completed. Storage on the transformer, this was completed. Sprinkler pipe leaking, this is going to be inspected by Conti this week. They recommended a backup pump. We have purchased the pump, we just need to get other materials needed to install it. Motor and pump running loud. We addressed this on 6/18. Remove the computer equipment from the boiler room. The door not sealed, this was completed. Black automatic sprinkler system, this was also completed, as were the black electrical panels. The snow blower inside, this is also removed. Another black electrical panel, this was resolved. Kitchen extinguishing system, this is completed this week by Conti, and they do a district-wide test. Same thing with the sprinkler head that is below, this was mentioned to the teacher as well, so I know they're working on figuring that out. Fire door is blocked, there's an appointment scheduled with lawn door to have this fixed. There's an issue with the fire door. Exit signs, these are all fixed. The string light, this was brought to the teacher's attention and was removed. Breach in security, this is also brought to the teacher's attention. The cement sill is damaged, this was addressed. Door sill damage is also addressed. On the sidewalk, the building administrator addressed it with the building staff. Backup cameras in the rear of the building. The camera is being added in this location. That's how to go. Wilkinson, slip-driven fall hazard in the parking lot. This is being addressed. We're hoping to use the bond to fix this, I'm sorry. There's also some cracking around the brick. This is something I have to try to reach out to the company and get some quotes on. The blocked egresses were addressed, as with the blocked electrical panels and blocked weather door. Asbestos covering is damaged. It says here, I scheduled an appointment with Nova Environmental to come out to see if it needs to be remediated. We're supposed to set up an appointment with me this week to do that. Snow blower storage inside, this has been completed. Weather inspection has been completed, we're waiting on the certificate. The padlocks have been removed from these doors. Exposed wiring, this was completed as well. Junction box covers, it looks like it was. Same thing with the other exposed wiring on page 6. Light fixtures missing bulbs, this was addressed. Kitchen extinguishing system, this will be serviced by Conti this week. Same with the hydrostatic testing. The slip-driven fall hazard was addressed in the kitchen. The fascia boards outside on the shed, this will be completed by the school staff. Same with the slip-driven fall, we're going to try to address as best we can with some steel coating and not be able to fix it completely with some bond funding. Repair the roof, this is what we discussed before, the one section of the roof is past its life expectancy here. We really can't fix this leak damage until the roof is repaired. The rear doors have no security. This has to be addressed with typo. They can add some contacts on the doors to wire into the alarm system. This is smoking on school grounds. This is addressed with the staff. This is the second part of the Wilkinson here. This door was open, was breaching security, so that was addressed with the kitchen staff. The blocked egresses were addressed in the gym. They were addressed with the teacher as well. The blocked electrical cords and hoses. Exposed wiring, a plate is being purchased to cover this exposed wiring in the wall here. Emergency lights and exit signs, these were all looked at and tested. Computers in the gym, this was addressed with the gym teacher as well. Missing cover on the dishwasher, this has been replaced. The new ceiling tile in the kitchen is also been replaced. The blocked egress on the stage has been addressed. Lights on the stage, close to the curtains, this has been addressed. Asbestos tiles, these are listed on our asbestos plan. As is the pipe on the next page. Electrical cords and hoses, this has been addressed. These ceiling tiles on the next page have been replaced since then. Vent discoloration, filter has been changed. The blocked electrical panels have been addressed. And the notice of the staff by turning off computers and labs. This mentions an infrared inspection. Again, this is something I'm going to be in touch with site about. The robotics program, they like us to do inventory of this. This is not been done yet. It's going to be exposed wiring. This is on our to-do list here. Pipe extensions, I'm going to get some quotes from landscape vendors to see what it costs to install a French drain. If it's super expensive, it's something that we might just want to remove to prevent fall hazards just for now. These poles around this transformer are, a couple of them are bent. I need to call DTE and see if this is something to replace, and if not, I can try to find out who's responsible for that. The repair fence is scheduled for this week. Electrical plug outside will be fixed by school staff. This is the light pole is tethered to a tree. Once the custodian and I looked at it, it's actually not tethered to a tree. The line's coming from the DTE power poles to this pole, so it's not actually tethered to a tree. All right, this is Madison High School. The pool area, the motor has been replaced. I still have the pipe inspected. That has not been done as of yet. Breaching security, this has been addressed. Roof leaks, obviously, the repairs are ongoing. The tiles were replaced. We do what we can to keep up with the repairs and to accept the fund. Kitchen extinguisher system, this was inspected this week. Lodge egresses have been addressed. The machine guarding table saw, the saw is not in use, but we just removed the blade anyways to be safe. And the whiteboards have been installed.
I know that there used to be a state law that anytime you turn a screw on the boilers, the state inspector had to come out. Is that still a state law? It's for insurance purposes mostly.
I've never heard that. There's been reports of quite a few repairs. I've never heard that.
Should we intend, should we have someone come out when everything is done and we have them inspected by the state?
Yeah, that's currently going on right now. They're coming out. They did the CSD1 inspection. I'm just waiting on the certification and results from that.
Anybody else have a question? Doug, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I just wondered if Jamie would send the Board of Education a copy of that, because I don't have that.
We'll send you one, and we did post it on, have we posted on one? We posted it online, and he'll send you a copy, first thing tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know, this was a lot of work, thank you. At least we know from this point on, the list will be shorter and shorter.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to thank the custodial staff as well for working so hard on it.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on, we have the check register approval. Expenditures for the month of June 2021. Accounts payable, $530,643.35. Payroll, $369,126.52. Wire transfers, $458,499.13. Total out, $1,358,269. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the monthly expenditures as presented. Do we have a maker and support? Mr. Holcomb makes the motion. Do we have support?
I'll support, Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Scott? Any discussion?
Chair, I have a question.
Trustee Chambliss, go ahead.
If a trustee misses a meeting, do we still get paid or not? Because we have been, in this check registry, we have paid trustees who aren't yet.
It was an oversight, I believe, a couple months. I did talk to her.
Yeah, she did bring it to somebody's attention.
She did.
So the answer is usually no.
That's what I thought, I was just clarifying.
Yeah, I just have one thing. Go ahead, Ms. Thompson. I did go over the invoices again, and we have another 9 pages of long-distance phone calls again. But I have assurances from Mr. Brewer that that's being corrected, this is correct.
Yeah, we're adding the 4 to 6 digit PIN. It'll be done by the time school starts.
Yes.
Rebecca Shondellis.
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Esther Ian grants updates. So, Dr. Hill, please. We have some information that I'm sure, this is, yes, we have, thank you, that I'm sure you'll be getting.
Okay.
Good evening, Board of Education members and community.
Yes, so far.
Okay. What is being passed out, basically, I wanted to update the board and this community on our major grant funding. I have provided the names of our major grants, our allocation amount, when the grant ends, and any notes regarding the grants. Starting with the GEARS grant, the district was awarded $102,295, and the grant ends 9/30/2021, and we have applied for it, and I have provided this board what we spent the GEARS grant on. Along with ESSER 1, the Madison District Public Schools was awarded $322,372. And then the board has what we applied for this grant funding to, what we're using the grant funding for. All educational purposes, of course. To include supplies, little professional development, because we are in a COVID environment, supplies needed for us to comply with COVID, cleaning supplies, masks, and things of that nature. ESSER 2, the only thing that MDE has allowed districts to apply for thus far is, for our district, $537,330. So we applied for that funding. It's going to support our summer school program. It's just starting along with 23B funding. But 23B funding, like the rest of ESSER 2 and ESSER 3, it was called up in legislation. Our legislators approved a large state aid bill to go to school districts. And you all heard about that. And what they're going to do, they're going to tell us when we can actually apply for the rest of that funding. They're going to send us an email. We're going to have a short window this month to apply for the funding. So, we're internally getting ready, even though, we have some shifts here and there, but we're getting ready. And we will be able to apply for the funding so that the district doesn't lose anything. Because we're going to have a short window, because the state, they had to vote on all this COVID money. And if you all have been following it, it has passed, it was pending with the governor. We don't know what she will support or not support, but I know she's for education, so stay tuned for that. In terms of our Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV funding, that has already been applied for. The end date on that is September 30th, 2021. We have spent most of it. We have spent most of this funding, and we have until September 30th to complete our spending, and then a final report, of course, is due by the end of October. And that's when we'll draw down the final funding, and, we don't want to lose anything. Title II, Title III, and Title IV rolls over if you don't spend it all. Title I, you only get 15% carryover. And we are aware of that, and we don't want to lose a penny. In terms of our Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV for the current year, normally this application is put in July 1st of any given year. But, the Michigan Department of Education, they decided to migrate to what's called a Nexus system. They weren't ready for us, so they're going to send us an email when they're ready for us to apply for this funding. So this is different. They've never done this before, but they're changing databases in terms of the database that we use to apply for the funding. And I have provided this board, what we have applied for, to be transparent. I do have some additional copies if any of the community members want to see what we applied for. I do have them up there for you. And that total is $5.5 million. You see the total at the bottom. And that's that. The money goes to support the classroom, teachers, and just the needs of the district. And that's my presentation. Thank you for your time and attention. Yes. Okay. K2. There has been a lot of questions about the K2 funding, and so I did a reconciliation of the K2 funds. In short, this funding started back in 2018, and we received about $36,959,000 worth of deposits. And initially, we had $49,303 in expenses, overdrawn that account by $12,344.69. So when I started the district, we can't have the activity funding overdrawn. That means that money was taken that that account wasn't due, or you're not supposed to overspend any funding because that money has to come from somewhere. So to overdraw that account by $12,344, it needed to be corrected. What happened, in short, was a check was cut against this fund in the amount of $41,958.41. So when I came in, I was able to void the check because I can't leave that account negative. So when I voided that $41,000 check, that left the expenses against this account in the amount of $7,345.57. And so the new K2 balance is $29,613.72. And I have provided this board with the detail and accounting of this money. And this fund, there has been no activity against this account or on this fund. It's just sitting there. So once again, the balance is $29,613.72, and there was a prior period adjustment of $12,344. That was the net result of that check being voided. Because we can't leave that account negative, it means that, money was taken that it wasn't due. So that's my presentation on that. K2 funding. Thank you.
We don't do anything.
In January of 2019, the board took action to freeze that account, and so nothing's been touched since.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, Beth, go ahead.
can Alina email that to me, what was given, and also the breakdown on the K2 funding?
Yes, I can. Mm-hmm.
She said yes.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
First, you want me to make copies about my way and then we should print out. Okay. And secondly, now that the money is just sitting there and the account is frozen, is it possible to reroute it to the?
No, I cannot hear who's speaking.
Now that the money is just sitting there and there's no activity on it, is it possible to reroute that money? We have underclassmen that currently haven't been able to fundraise for special events when they become seniors. We have classes that could benefit, like are doing special things for the seniors. Would it be possible to reroute this money, or does it just sit in limbo forever?
See, the way that the student activity fund works, whatever that fund was designed to do, whatever that, the reason why the fund was created, you have to stick with that unless that, that board that, got together to initiate that student activity fund, makes the change to do what you're saying. So it would have to be that committee. Student activity funds, that's a special fund, and we can't change the identification of that fund.
Do we have any plans to address the money so that it is allocated in a way that is used for students?
I'll speak to that. I feel more comfortable waiting to see. I have received a lot of inquiries regarding that account, so I would recommend the board to wait and see, and then the board could take action to freeze. So the board has taken action to freeze that spending right now, no activity at all. And that's what I would recommend. We continue until those inquiries are resolved, and then we can proceed after those inquiries.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? We're going to move on. GRC report, please.
That would be myself, Madam President, that's Scott. So I forwarded what we have received, and also on July 1st, I sent an email to Mr. Gulad that I was resigning from that committee. I can't remember if it was Rebecca or Crystal was my backup, if they want to pick it up, but I resigned. But we'll continue to send anything that I get until someone actually takes over that position.
Thank you. And with that, before we proceed, last the alternate,
I believe it's me.
and would you like to then sit on that as our spokesperson?
Yes, ma'am, I voted
All right. Beth, I don't know if you heard, but Trustee Chambers is going
Thank you.
to be our representative. Okay, next up, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee report.
It's directional.
Okay, they just recently had the Juneteenth at the Civic Center, and I haven't heard back on that yet because they have another meeting scheduled for this month. And while we're here, we might as well do Parks and Rec. We've got a meeting set up for next week. And I'll get back with everybody on that.
Chair.
Yes, the Trustee Chambers.
The DEI committee is actually Crystal and I. I think it's a different committee that Wisconsin goes
Yeah,
to.
and I actually think, I know there was some confusion as to whether she needed to report here or not, but go ahead.
Okay.
I know it's confusing.
It's okay, more information is better. So the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee has been really trying since December, January to get a 21-day challenge out. It's something that different boards would receive information every single day, and it would be an activity that takes 15 to 20 minutes every day, and it makes you stop and see things in a different way. It makes you notice things that you might not have otherwise noticed. And they did that with just the delegates for the DEI committee, that we came back after 21 days, and it was a phenomenal experience that at first I thought was silly, but then within like 2-3 days was amazing. So they tried to push it out to entire boards, and they wanted our entire board to do it, but they felt with everything going on with COVID and everything going on just in the world right now, that it would be too much for the for their board to take it on. So they have postponed it till September, but they are starting a 7-day challenge where it's going to ask us questions that we need to contact staff members in the building and see how they see things, how they, to kind of bring awareness to situations we might not otherwise know. So I can forward those daily emails if you guys want to see them. They're really interesting. It might be how you experience something at the grocery store, things that you might not know. It's a really neat experience, but I will report more on it when we finish it.
With that, we move on to our closed session. Pursuant to section 8C, the strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement with either negotiating party. It's recommended that the Board of Education. So we need a maker and support. And we have support. Thank you. Trustee Thompson will support that, if you didn't hear that. Any discussion? Trustee Beaker, go ahead.
Do we need to list the name of the partner in the closed session for?
We just have to read that for collective bargaining agreement. It's teachers, it's no secret, but it's for teacher bargaining agreement and it's other. But legally, we just have to read it just as it's in.
See no more questions, call the roll, please.
Rebecca Shambliss,
Yes.
Crystal Weaver,
Yes.
Mark Holcomb,
Yes.
Cindy Holzer,
Yes.
Lori Thompson,
Yes.
Beth Scott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
With that,